What's the one and only thing you need to become a raw vegan? If you're looking to becoming a raw vegan yourself, then congratulations, you are in the right place. Before I get into it, a very special welcome to my new subscribers. I hadn't realized that YouTube had recommended one of my videos. No matter how you got here, I'm very happy you are here, and let's all enjoy more raw foods. If you enjoy my videos, please leave a like and or a comment and or hit subscribe if you haven't already. It helps my content reach more fruit lovers and raw vegan enthusiasts alike. So let's get into it. Sometimes when people find out that I eat this way, they will ask me questions like, aren't you worried about getting enough of this or that nutrient, whether it's protein or calcium or whatever? Or they will ask me if I need a lot of equipment like a juicer or a food processor, or they will say, isn't it really expensive to eat like that? Don't you feel hungry all the time? Don't you need a lot of discipline? The overall trend that I notice with these questions is that they are based on the belief that the raw vegan lifestyle is somehow complicated or difficult. And that leads me to the point of this video. The one and only thing you need to be a raw vegan is not to believe that, and to believe the opposite. The only thing you need is to believe. Yeah, I know it sounds super duper corny, but I have found it to be true. So what should you believe? Not that you should or that you have to, but if you want to, then I would suggest that it helps to believe that this lifestyle is not only doable, but that it's actually simple and easy. And having that belief will do you wonders on this lifestyle. So let's break it down. And I'm going to speak in broad strokes here, so bear with me. Bear with, girl, okay? First, about nutrition. In my experience, we actually don't need a lot of food for our bodies to function well. In fact, the more we eat, the more we are taxing our bodies by forcing it to digest and process the food. When we aren't digesting food, our bodies can actually direct energy towards other functions like healing and repairing damaged cells. The body is very, very intelligent and knows what to do. Have you ever noticed how your finger heals when you get a cut, for instance? You don't really need to do anything. Over time, the cut will heal without needing any intervention from you other than keeping the wound clean and, in some cases, keeping it covered with a bandage maybe. The body knows what to do, but it does it in its own timing and order. And every time we eat, the body has to respond to this foreign matter coming into the body because, in a way, it is an immediate potential threat. So the body does what it needs to keep us safe by directing energy towards digesting the food, extracting the nutrients, getting the good stuff out of the food and sending it into our cells and expelling the stuff we don't need, the bad stuff, through our poop. So in some ways, the act of eating actually puts our bodies on the defensive, if that makes sense. And what we actually need to eat and in what amount, in my experience, is actually minimal. Although it does fluctuate. It is not some static figure of calories like you might be led to believe with nutritional daily recommended requirements, at least not in my experience. It really depends not just on your age, your height, and your weight, but also on how active you are. Obviously, someone who is very active and, say, a bodybuilder is going to need to consume a whole lot more food than, say, someone who has a very sedentary lifestyle. And if you think that raw vegans can't become bodybuilders or athletes, highly competent and competitive ones at that, then think again, because they are out there. It's just that there aren't many of them, relatively speaking. My point is, instead of only believing that I need to get a lot of nutrition to fuel my body, I also tend to believe that by eating simply and lightly, I am doing my body a huge favor by not constantly forcing it to break down complex foods and expelling what's not needed. And I have found that cooked foods are much more taxing on the body than raw foods. That's probably why they take much longer to transit, even if they are cooked using healthier methods like steaming. This has been true to my experience, and I have eaten everything from deep fried junk food to very simple vegan food like boiled potatoes and steamed vegetables without using any salt, oil, or sugar, to where I'm at now, over 2 years into being raw vegan, which includes a period of experimenting with very simple cooked foods. So I am speaking from personal experience here. Second, about equipment. You do not need any special equipment to eat raw vegan. You can use things like food processors, juicers, and blenders if you want to, but these are accessories, not necessities. Back when I lived in Japan, I had all of those things. And so I tried a lot of things like smoothies, raw soups, juices. I wasn't big into juices, but I had a Huron juicer. So occasionally I would use it to make juice or nut milk. It's a long story, but in my move to Hong Kong, I had to get rid of most of my belongings, which included that stuff. And that didn't stop me from staying raw vegan. All you really need is your bare hands and your teeth, but it makes things a lot easier if you have a knife and cutting board, and basically everything you probably already have in your kitchen. Things to put your food in, bowls and Tupperware, things with which to eat, like a fork and spoon, or chopsticks if you're like me. Third, about being expensive. I don't think many people consider how expensive their current eating habits actually are. Here in Hong Kong, where I live, people who aren't even living extravagantly spend several hundreds of dollars, Hong Kong dollars, on groceries and meals, eating out per day. Most people I know eat out every single day, whereas on average, I would say I spend anywhere between as little as 50 to up to 150 Hong Kong dollars per day on my version of the raw vegan lifestyle. I don't eat designer raw vegan food, and I don't always eat organic. Also, maybe this doesn't count for much, but you use far less electricity with raw food. I don't know how much that translates into in terms of dollars, but it is a sort of expense. The only thing I really use in terms of electricity for my food currently is my refrigerator. Hong Kong can get very hot and humid in the summer months, and having the fridge is really helpful to keep my food from spoiling. But actually, when I first moved here, I actually didn't even have a fridge for the first year. It's definitely doable even without a fridge. I'm not saying you have to do it that way. What I am saying is that there are so many ways of being a raw vegan. There isn't this one way of doing it, the expensive way, that is. Yes, you can be a fancy raw vegan connoisseur who regularly eats out at raw vegan restaurants, and that could be very expensive. Or you could be a minimalist raw vegan who hops from fruit market to fruit market and doesn't really spend that much money on food. Or you could be something in between those two. That's my only point. Next, about feeling hungry. I've actually given this a lot of thought, and the conclusion I've reached is that, yeah, I'm always hungry, but I've always been that way. And no, I'm not being flippant here. Being hungry is something I've always experienced, even when I ate cooked food. It's nothing new, and it will probably always be with me. I love food. I love eating. And I've learned to appreciate the hunger and allow it to build instead of blaming the type of food I'm not eating enough for it, if that makes sense. Hunger also makes the food taste that much sweeter. I'm not saying, by the way, that my food doesn't satisfy me either. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this idea that somehow raw food is less satisfying, it's just another belief. You can choose to believe it or you can choose not to. It really is that simple. Which leads me to discipline. I don't feel like I need a lot of discipline. All I needed was to change how I saw things, and some people can do that in an instant. It could take longer for other people. It took me a while too. I had to take in a lot of information before feeling comfortable enough to even try. Feeling comfortable is important, in my opinion. If you don't feel comfortable about trying it yet, then I wouldn't recommend it. The real trick, perhaps, is to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. How's that for a mind bender? My point here is that at the end of the day, what keeps me going is my own experience. After I went raw, everything in my body just worked better. I never was very overweight, and I did lose some weight just by going vegan. And then I kind of fell into the junk vegan food trap and gained some excess weight back. But then I discovered the raw food lifestyle, and as a raw vegan, the weight came off so easily. And my skin, my severe cystic acne, which was horrible even as a vegan, it cleared up a ton when I went raw vegan. And TMI warning, by the way, back out now or skip ahead if you don't like too much information. But my bowel movements were far smoother and my periods became pain-free after going raw vegan. Experiencing all of that firsthand was far more empowering than any second-hand account or scientific statistic could ever be. So that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful really in some way. On this lifestyle is to believe. Are you enjoying the raw vegan lifestyle, or are you interested in it? Let me know, leave a comment, and if you enjoyed watching this, please leave a like. Hit subscribe. Let's reach more raw vegan enthusiasts and bring them all together. Have a great day. Bye.